Hey guys, this is Hell Hades. This is a Raid Shadow Legends video. Guys, just got back from my holiday. I had a great break actually, and I've kind of come back to Crazy Town in Raid Shadow Legends. I thought I'd do a bit of a mop-up video, some of the stuff I've missed, 2 new champions that are added to the game, and give some of my thoughts. So, honestly, a week has gone by, and I wasn't playing Raid. Pretty much all I was doing on my holidays, in the morning, I'd log in and do my clan boss keys. Quick, instant battle, and then that was it. But I did see all of the number of events that have been running. Obviously, most of them are literally just ending for me now. But, wow, what a week. I know Saf's been kind of keeping people up to date. We had the Prism Shard event, where the summoning cost went up to 80, but the summoning pool reduced from all of the rares and threw in a ton more legendaries. In fact, this summoning pool, obviously I'm not going to be involved, but this summoning pool's pretty juicy. But I saw the reaction. I mean, a 10% chance to get a legendary is probably about as good as it gets, but it feels like the community were not happy. I guess give me some comments below. Is this something you thought was a good move or not? Obviously, the summoning cost going up, anyone's going to feel that's bad. But if you are someone who buys shards anyway, the fact that you've got a higher summoning chance and, honestly, a lot of sexy legendaries, maybe some people preferred it. Who knows? But yeah, give me your view on this kind of like change to the Prism Shard event down below. And yeah, damn. I mean, there was just events coming at me left, right, and center whenever I logged in. There was one which seemed as though it was going to give fragments for champions. And when I clicked on it, there were literally no fragments there. So I don't know exactly what went down with that. Or maybe I was just not close enough to previous like fragment champions to be in the mix of it. But you know, where we've always said, please bring back fragments of old champions, make them available in an event. I thought that's what they were starting to do there, but I didn't see any evidence of it. So not really sure what went down. Main thing for this video though, let's check out the 2 champions they've added to the game. So obviously we've got the Sun Wukong that everyone's going to be getting. If you've been logging in since day 1, like I've done, then in a couple of days you will pick up Sun Wukong. We're going to go over the kit, but also the multipliers and see what that champion looks like it's going to be like. And then we've got the other new one added as well. Let's get on then. Let's have a look. This is going to be my first actual look in game at the new champion we're all picking up. Already skins in the game as well. So Sun Wukong. I think this is a cool ad. I know lots of games bring in Wukong in some guise or another. The little jump on the staff there is cool. I like it. In the Skinwalkers, yeah, I know there was always kind of like, which faction should this dude go into? But yeah, I like it. Okay, so fast, 105. Good base attack, 1586. Got speed in arena. And when we've done the ratings at this point, he's rated, I put him to 3.5 out of 5. But he really feels like an arena specialist. Oh, I like that. I haven't seen that yet. That's actually cool. Good job, Raid, with that. Like, yeah, nice. So yeah, in terms of the ratings, he feels quite one-dimensional around where he's going to be played. Maybe 2 areas, like Hydra and Arena feel strong. And it feels like he's going to be wave-based content as well. So Faction War's decent. You know, Doom Tower Wave's decent. But he doesn't have a whole bunch of debuffs and stuff like that, which are going to get him into loads of content. So a bit more like a Ronda than a Artak, for example. Let's take a look. So A1... 25% chance to stun increases to 50 if they've got any buffs. And then you get another 25 down here. So up to 75% chance to stun on an A1. It's actually very high. His A2, ignoring 50% target defense. And then it's got this surplus damage hit, which the surplus damage cannot crit. Very much like Draco. But Draco, when he does this, the surplus damage still hits hard. It used to hit like an absolute freight train. They actually nerfed Draco to do exactly what they're doing here with Sun Wukong. Doesn't mean that it's going to be terrible. Just means that it's probably not going to be crazy. But this is in the interesting part here. So if the initial target survives, will sheep them for a turn, and the debuff cannot be blocked by anything other than resistance, right? So if they've got block debuffs, I'm assuming that still goes on. But you do have to have accuracy to make the sheep happen. This is interesting because he's already becoming like, do I build him just straight for damage and try and kill with this and then get the surplus damage going somewhere else? Or do we utilize the sheep mechanic and make this happen? And then the A3 is a straight AoE damage dealer. Before attacking, steals all buffs from all enemies, then places block buffs on them for 2 turns. So before attacking, steals them all and places block buffs. That should interact that affinity doesn't matter for any of this stuff, right? He can't weak hit to steal the buffs or block or put block buffs out. I don't think he can weak hit with this, but he can obviously weak hit on the actual physical attack. This means it's really solid for Hydra, actually. This ability here is going to be very solid on a 3-turn cooldown. So that's kind of nice. We then got the revive mechanic where he revives with 100% HP and turn meter 3 turns after he's killed. I'm going to give you some new info on this because this potentially is crazy in live arena. Like, there's no cooldown here. This potentially has just become a game changer in live arena with the announcement that they dropped in their raid update yesterday. Let me just bring this up for you here. We're going to go through this now before I go to the other champ. So the digest came out yesterday and they said, let's take a closer look at Sun Wukong, as well as some other topics that are going around. I'm going to start with the Sun Wukong. So Sun Wukong has a unique self-revive passive that brings him back 3 turns after he's downed. Now, my initial view when I read this was there must be some way that turn meter is still going. It's almost like you see his turn meter bar still ticking, even though he's dead. But that's not what they're going to do. That's not what they're going to do. I guess it's more difficult for them to try and implement that. But please notice that a turn of any champion present in the battle counts towards that revive, enemy or ally. So every time a third person takes a turn, Wukong is coming back. Just imagine how nuts that is. Just think about it for a second. Like, you've just killed Wukong, let's say with your damage dealer. Yeah, let's say you've got a normal arena style team, right? Like, I can't even get my head around how crazy this is. A normal arena style team. So your damage dealer takes down Wukong. Then the rest of your team, which are probably faster than your damage dealer, will take additional turns because they're pretty much there to set up your damage dealer. Before your damage dealer gets another turn to try and take down anyone, Wukong is back alive. That's just if your team are taking turns. But don't forget, the enemy team are also taking turns. I could just see Wukong being used as this kind of like, within a very tanky based team, as the damage dealer, as this annoying champion, becomes crazy hard to keep down unless you block revive him. Like, it is a kind of insane change compared to what I originally thought this dude was going to do. So that is nuts. It says here as well, additionally, Wukong is able to turn an enemy into a sheep with his A2, even if that enemy is under stone skin. That sheep is nearly identical to the sheep produced by Polymorph. Both sheeps are the same, 150 speed. Transformation into sheep always resets their turn meter to 0. Please note, however, the transformation doesn't affect the victim's skill cooldowns. Okay, so when they become themselves, they've still got the same cooldowns as before. The only difference is that Wukong's transformation curse lasts 1 turn instead of 2 turns. So you turn him into a sheep for 1 turn. I mean, that's a very powerful skill as well, by the way. Like, turning someone into a sheep basically removes all of their buffs. And that's the kind of stronger element to what's going on here. Like, if you've got some enemy champion, either someone like an ultimate Death Knight who's ruling the game because he's directing all of the traffic into him, that's one element. But also, if you've got champions that are just like incredibly difficult to kill, fully buffed up, you know, about to revive everyone else, you could just literally be like, bam, I'm going to sheep them. And that is very strong. It's a very, very strong mechanic. So all of this is kind of like leading up to be a pretty nutty champion in arena, especially in live arena. Like, block revive champions are going to go through the roof in terms of value, I think, because he's going to be very difficult to keep down. And it's not going to be that long before people can get, you know, multiple copies of Wukong And at that point, damn, it might be insane. So this is definitely, yeah, definitely pretty crazy in terms of what's going on. I guess before we go into any other stuff, let's just talk about multipliers here. So we've got him on the website. As I say, we've kind of, at the moment, we've rated him 3.5. We've not been able to play test him, so it's just based on his skill. And we've sort of said, look, Hydra strong, Arena very strong. But really, there's not many other areas of the game where I feel like he's going to be super strong. He does hit reasonably hard. We're going to see that in a minute. But otherwise, he doesn't bring anything else. He's not got, multiple hits on his A1 for finite. He doesn't bring any sort of AoE stun, or like there's no control in his kit. So there's not much going on in other areas of the game. So his multipliers then, we've got a 3.5 on his A1, which comes out as godlike. A 5 on his A2. This is going to be a very hard hit on his A2 because it's ignoring 50% of the target's defense as well. That's coming out as godlike. And then his A3 is also coming out as godlike in a 3.8 multiplier. Bearing in mind he's got a high base attack. Yeah, 1586. The only thing with this A3 is it is coming into godlike, but it's at the lower end, right? So if you compare it to Ethos, it's quite a lot less than Ethos's A3, yeah, which is kind of known as a damage smack. It's almost exactly the same as Ethos's A2, which is the weaker of the Ethos hits and generally does not one-shot anyone who's built really well, like tanky builds, won't one-shot them. It's almost exactly the same, actually, as the multipliers on a Ronda. Yeah, so the A2 will be a bit better, and the A3 is almost exactly the same because she gets double hit at 1.9, so that's 3.8. Sun Wukong 3.8. It's exactly the same. So just bear that in mind. We know Ronda can hit hard. Like I've seen +4 Rondas absolutely slaying people in the arena. So this is going to hit decent damage. But when you have to build out a good amount of accuracy in his kit as well, you start throwing in perception sets or whatever. You start having to change the way you do your masteries, which pulls some of the damage out. Then I think he's going to end up being used more as the utility champ, annoying, hard-hitting utility champ, rather than the absolute nuke, is my view on where it's going to go. But I guess we'll see. We'll see. But interesting kit. I don't know. What do you guys think? Is this something or is this a champion that you think is going to add a lot of value to your account or not? I could see certainly end game arena players starting to play around with this dude or having to try and counter this dude, much like Ultimate Death Knight. Ultimate Death Knight's not a hard hitter. It's damn annoying in the arena. I think Sun Wukong's going to be a similar type of champ. Let's look at the other new one that they added as a bit of a surprise ad. Shu-Zhen. The Valorous. A bit of a Chun-Li type of feel. I like it. So Void Legendary just added. Okay, nice. 110 base speed, really fast. Good defense, good HP. We've got a support-based champion here. So what's going on with this one? Attacks an enemy. Books up to 50% chance of putting blocked active skills out. An okay, or it's actually a pretty good A1. Also, 80% books up to 100% chance to steal 20% of the target's turn meter. They've already got this on. Okay, good A1, nothing too crazy. A2 then, books to a 3 turn. Target an ally. If the target ally is not under a sheep, places increased attack, increased crit, and increased crit damage for 2 turns. Then activates give extra turn effect on the ally. Give extra turn effect. Does that mean they automatically just go? I guess it does. So you're buffing them with damage and then saying straight away go. If they are a sheep, remove the sheep from them. I guess, and they don't get any of this buff. So the first champion in the game to remove the sheep debuff from a champion on your team. But also, probably more importantly, instant crazy damage for someone. Like instant crazy damage. Albeit, I don't know how easy this is going to be to target it, right? So if a sheep's out there, I'm assuming her AI is just going to be like, I'm going to target the sheep, right? We would assume that's going to happen. Please raid. But if there's not a sheep out there, my assumption here is this targets the leader. Because that's normally what targeting skills do. If it's on auto, they normally just focus in on the leader if there's not a good reason to target someone else. So, I don't know. We'll see how this works in practice. But this is kind of crazy, actually, for throwing in a ton of damage on your damage dealer and then, hitting the go button straight away. That's kind of nuts. That's a cool skill. I really like this skill. The AE3 then fills turn meter of all allies by 20%, puts increased speed on them as well. Also throws back the enemy's turn meter by 20% and puts decreased speed on them. So very Lissandra-esque as an ability. This is a very, very strong turn meter ability as well. Damn. Speed is back on the table. That's actually kind of crazy. What's the passive? Increases this champion's accuracy equal to the amount of speed they have. So if you put them up to, like, call it 350 speed, which is very doable for a lot of players, see, and it's an arena aura, straight up gets an extra 350 accuracy. Wow. Which makes this ability even more strong. Like, this becomes way stronger because that decreased speed is probably going out there. I wonder how the kind of high-end players are feeling about this, because obviously Stone Skin and slow teams has been a thing for a while, and Stone Skin is still going to be there. So if you've got someone like a Shu-Zhen who can just beat their way through Stone Skin, and you can buff them and say, let yourself loose Shu-Zhen, take someone down, take the team down if you like, then this champion could be new meta, honestly. This champion could be new meta. Okay, interesting. Damn. Lots of interesting stuff going on. Let's just check out the last part of this Raid Digest then. So they fixed some bugs on Emic Trunk Heart's passive. May accidentally increase his or ally skill cooldowns. Okay, I wasn't aware of it. Ongoing and upcoming events in Teleria. Since we've received lots of questions from enthusiastic players about Prism, Summon Pool events, please keep in mind that such events may have different parameters each time. So numbers of prisms are going to change, different ways to get them. Yeah. Okay. So the first one was kind of thrown out there as we're giving you a couple of freebies. This one was thrown out there as a spenders event, and they're going to look at their analytics and see which got the most money. Earlier we said that participation in Hydra Clash, you can change your clan on a Wednesday. Here's an important caveat to that. To qualify for the chest rewards for Hydra Clash, you should join the new clash as early as possible. It's very vague. As early as possible before the clash starts. That's not really an instruction raid. Just join as early as possible because we don't really know how soon you need to be there. Okay. Such a... Okay, what else is going on? Speaking of time-limited activities, please note that the Death Knight has arranged an art contest to get some gems and stuff. Cool. Finally, Clan v Clan coming up will have personal rewards. Right, okay. So I guess the last thing I'm going to touch on then is this Hydra Clash. And, I mean, I don't know. I did a video talking about this before, and I still don't know how I feel about it. Obviously, I've not built new teams out because I've been away. And before I was away, I was very busy trying to make sure I still had some content for you guys. You know, we as a clan decided not to build out, all of the crazy teams, right? And there might be a couple now that have done it since I've been away. It certainly feels like this might be one. I was got a triple crazy team here. So built out one here. Looks like, some of the clan are starting to get on board because it looks like the nerf is not coming. But this is the fact, right? We lost to the very high level clans because they near enough all built this same team. Yeah, this team here, which is dominating whenever someone can do it. This kind of like corpulent cadaver. And it's not been a team that has been unavailable, by the way. This team has been available since Hydra came out. It's just that people now have got a reason to build it, and certainly some like very big brain people have made it very strong, right? And that's generally what happens. There's a meta, people fall in tune with the meta, and they kind of like copy the best teams that are out there. That's normal in this style of game. The thing that I don't like about this, and really one of the reasons why I've not got on board with it at this moment, is because it's so much stronger than the next best team, right? So in any game, there should be a certain amount of balance. There will always be a meta. There will always be best champions, best teams. That happens in games which are pay to win, free to play, whatever. As buffs and nerfs come in, you know, some anomalies pop up which the developers don't even expect. Happens in League of Legends a lot. Happens in, you know, Valorant, whatever. Competitive games that don't have a pay to win structure, there's still these kind of like nerfs and buffs that go on, and new champions, because of slight tweaks, just like come to the top, right? That just happens. And if there's a significant change to someone's kit in those type of games, it takes a bit of a while for it to bed in. But normally, the best champion might be like, you know, overall win rate, for example, they might be 1, 2, 3, maybe as much as 5% better than the next. Still significant in that style of game, but, you know, call it 5% is about the max, you know, better than the next person that you can get. The problem I've got with this is it's so much better than the next best. Yeah, and that's not good. That's not good for the game. And that's just my issue with it. Like, you know, this very strong team here in Hydra did 259 million against Nightmare. And you're like, that is an exceptional score against Nightmare. Okay? Try and find one of these against Nightmare here. This team, which is against Nightmare as well, did 16 billion damage against Nightmare. Like, it's so much better than the next best thing that it's not sustainable in this game. Because what it means is, if you can't build this team and everyone else is, your clan will just straight lose. That's not great for this game. Certainly not when you're starting to put rewards against performance. So I'm struggling to get on board with it, honestly. I don't want to build that team out. I still feel like they've got to do something to nerf that team. But the trouble is, you then nerf that team and the next best one pops up, which might end up being, you know, this style team where you're kind of like throwing in crazy damage with these kind of like high-end Trunders. And then, you know, the next style team where you've got multiple Chrysias. So it's like, where does it end? But still, I can't get on board with a team that, like, this crazy team, double a Chrysia, you know, basically all top tier void legendaries basically here, doing 746 million against Nightmare. There shouldn't be a team that can do like 20 times that damage versus this crazy team. You know what I'm saying? So I can't get on board with it. Anyway, look, this video's gone long. Hope you've had a good week. I know it's been a mental week in Raid with events popping up everywhere. But yeah, I'm back up in Hell Hades. I'll see you later.